Tom, great to see
Great
you.
to be with you guys.
Great to always have you
Man,
on.
I wish I could see you. I'm seeing them.
But we can see you. That's all that matters.
Thanks,
You're eye
Shaq.
candy right now. America
I
loves
know.
seeing that pretty face, believe me. But you know,
I love
great.
seeing
And
your
we love
pretty
hearing your
face. What
voice.
you
We
talking
we love hearing you call this game, man. And we're sitting there. They showed a guy in the stands who had on something. They said 28-3, which was the score when your Patriots came back and beat Atlanta in the Super Bowl. You started talking about it. Then all of a sudden, Dallas turned it around. Do you think we're going to have that same result in this game?
I know you would just, when you're at that moment, you just think, how do I chip away? How do I chip away? And they actually came alive on offense. And one thing about this game, we said, how can they find production outside of CeeDee Lamb? And a lot of guys from Dallas stepped up. It was just too much Baltimore offense. And Derrick Henry went off. Lamar did what he does. And when those guys are doing their thing, man, it's hard for any defense to slow down. So there was a lot of defensive frustration from the Cowboys. That's kind of expected with the way that Baltimore's offense played today.
Hey, Tom, the other TV, the original TV, I might add. I gotta ask you, when you saw Dallas getting ready for this game, did you think their defense could stop the Ravens at all? Because right now, man, they're giving up a ton of points, putting so much pressure, even on the offense, even possibly more so on the defense.
Yeah, I think there's hope that they can stop, but the reality is they're struggling on the inside trying to slow these run games down. And we had the Saints game last week, and they could never get them into a third down. And this is a team that's got a good pass rush. I'm sure Michael can talk about when you never get a chance to pass rush, you may have a great pass rush, but you can't make any difference in the game because you can't even get them to a third down. Today late, they actually got them to a couple third downs, got them off the field, but early on, when it's Lamar to the right, Lamar to the left, Derrick to the right, Derrick to the left, and then they had the boots coming off of those things, you're just such a moving target. And as a defender, I'm sure you get so hesitant. You don't know to rush, you don't know to drop, you're going side to side, and you can't be aggressive. So Dallas, they've got to get, obviously, that run game defense stopped. I do like what I saw in the pass game from Dallas. They got a lot of guys involved. Looks like they're a lot more difficult to stop when that happens. But this game to me was all about Baltimore's toughness. They're a tough organization. They got a tough head coach. They got battle-tested guys. You got to bring it for 4 quarters to beat a team like that.
Yeah. And they hung in to the fourth quarter. We'll see you next week. You've got the Eagles and your former team, the Buccaneers.
Have a good week, Tom.
Look forward to it. Thanks a lot, Tom.
See you later, buddy.
You guys too.
All
Great
right.
seeing you guys.
You.
All right.
All right. See
Always
you soon.
great to
Bye,
see
guys.
you.
Thanks.
All right, buddy. All right. Let's get inside some of the winning locker rooms. Detroit held on to beat Arizona. Let's start there.
Here's what I love, man. This week we talked about it. This was one of those, man, gritty, like unglorious type of games you were going to need to play. And you did that across the board, man. And that's, at the end of the day, that's our baseline, man. That's our baseline.
So many guys, all right, that I want to be able to recognize. A couple guys that come to mind immediately. Where's a couple balls right here, Kev? All right, hey, how about Xavier Smith? Guys, that's a complete team win. When one phase isn't working, the other one has the other one's back. And then when it's time for the other phase to go, they do it. When the coach makes a couple bad mistakes, they have his back. When somebody we can't be great without the greatness of others. Yes, sir. Guys, I'm so proud of you.
We can talk all we want about resiliency, and we've talked about it. All right? I think the coaches do a great job of leading you. All right? I think the captains and the leaders lead you. Okay, I'll do my best to try to lead you in a positive way.
Everything the game did to us today, we responded, man. And that's going to create some tough people in here, man. We strong, man. Stay mentally strong, man.
Those roadblocks, that adversity, all the things that happen out here in the football field are going to happen to us the rest of our lives. And the best thing about this game is you have to learn grit or you don't survive. And grit is that fortitude that says, today I got to win. I got to get up and come back to work. I got to get up and get back with my family. I got to get up. You know what? I never stop getting up.
It's very rare when you get to come back to a place that gets rid of your ass. Right? Very rare. This guy was 13 and 19 for 202. 73 yards on the ground. And
But the thing that was the key difference in the game that made it all happen was 274 yards rushing. By King Henry.
All right, a lot of fun when you win football games.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's bring in Jay Glazer right now to get us all caught up on some of the injuries today. Jay?
Look, there's been a rash of injuries leading up to this week. Unfortunately, that trend continued today with a lot of big names. We'll start with Myles Garrett. Myles admitted that he has a foot injury going into today's game and aggravated it. He's getting an MRI tomorrow, so they'll get results tomorrow. Justin Herbert, we told you earlier today, he didn't know if he was going to play today. Actually aggravated that high ankle sprain during the game. Has to get further tests tomorrow. Eagles today, they had a big win, but they got banged up. Devonta Smith and Lane Johnson both suffered concussions, but they both did fly back with the team. And finally, Sam Darnold, big game for him, but he injured his knee in that game, getting an MRI tomorrow. Viking fans holding their breath.
All right, Sam Darnold threw 4 touchdown passes in that big win today. Much more to come here on the
comeback by Dallas, but it comes up short. 28-25, Baltimore tried to give this one away in moments, but the lead too large. They are winners, their first of the season, avoiding an 0-3 start. Ryan Wilson back in studio to explore some of what we saw. It was a different final quarter than maybe we expected with how dominant the Ravens were on the front end. So I know celebration is in order here for a Ravens team that avoids 0-3, but why is it so hard for them to get the thing to the clubhouse sometimes?
This is wild because it felt like, and we've talked about the late fourth quarter collapses under John Harbaugh, especially in light of the 0-2 start before this game here in Dallas. And for 45, 50 minutes, this game felt like it was in hand. We were having conversations about when is Bill Belichick going to take over for the Cowboys? Is it going to be this season or next? And then we walk down to the studio and look at the scores, 28-25, and you wonder how it all fell apart. 2 punts, a 46-yard missed field goal by Justin Tucker, which never happens this season. Seems to be particularly rough for Justin early on, and hopefully he gets it right. He's one of the best kickers, if not the best kicker in the NFL. But I'm sure John Harbaugh's having the conversation, how do we do 60 minutes of football like we did the first 45? Because this team somehow was almost 0-3, and once it's 0-3, that's a wrap. I feel a little bit better about the Ravens than I do about the Cowboys right now. Maybe if you're selling moral victories, if you're Mike McCarthy, the last 15 minutes is what we need to see going forward. But there's a lot of bad football up to that point at home. And you talked about how many points has this team given up at home the last 3 games, going back to last year's playoff loss, the demoralizing playoff loss. So I'm at a loss. I don't feel great about either team. So I don't know where you are on the ID check for these teams, but I don't know if I'm letting them in the club.
I think the Ravens, with that head coach, that quarterback, the talent around them, will still cobble together a season that will end in the playoffs at some point. I don't know that I see a Super Bowl contender. Right. These Cowboys, they do now beg the question of what does it look like moving forward? Because this is a loss, and yes, you find the moral victory within, didn't let go of the rope, or you could sell it however you can, but 50-something rushing yards once again. How is this team supposed to play against these NFC sides with no form of a rushing game right now, and where does it come from?
No rushing game. This isn't on Zeke Elliott or Rico Dowdle. And oh, by the way, the Week 1 trouncing of the Browns, that wasn't so much Mike Zimmer. That was the Browns not being very good. Last week they were embarrassed by Derek Carr and the Saints. This week they were embarrassed for 50 minutes by the Ravens offense. So no running game, no defense. You're putting everything on Dak. We saw a frustrated CeeDee Lamb, understandably so, early in that football game. This feels not great. It's not bad. You can fix it. But it feels like it's sort of the saying, you're trying to build the airplane in the air. You better get the mechanics out there because there's a lot of questions, and it has not looked good for 3 games.
Where does this lug nut go? This one goes in,
shucks it out the window.
Yeah, this one goes in the loss column as they do fall just short against the Ravens. A valiant effort, but we don't give out W's for effort. A loss here for the Cowboys at home again. All right, Lamar Jackson has kept his team